with great appreciation that I do mention Marshall House Inn. Thank you, John and Kirsten. The Marshall High Studios. Thank you, Rock Lane. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I'm not sure who to thank, but I gotta figure that out. Anyways, Dog Tag Art, and our newest, I believe, is the Farm Connection out on 213 heading towards Martinsville from Marshall. Anyways, bird report real quick. 4 ducks flying downstream, great blue heron, and about 6 crows on the roads coming out over here. Okay, folks, right now I have the pleasure, turn on the recorder. I have the pleasure to have my first guest of 2 today, John Gosnell, this morning. John is the Madison County Democratic Party Chair. John, I assume it's not too early for you.
No, sir.
Good. You get up early.
Yeah, I was up at 4:30 this morning.
Were you?
Yeah, that's my usual time to get up.
Yeah, I get up real early too. I try to go back, but I can't.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into politics, John, would you give a short biography of yourself and include your birthplace, education, work history, and family, if you like? And how about a good book you've read or a movie you've seen this past year, shutting you?
Okay. Actually, born in Nashville at Mission Hospital. Grew up on a farm over in Shelton Laurel. Worked with my dad was a contractor for the Forest Service. My brother was a highway contractor here in North Carolina. Grew up around tractors, bulldozers. Got to play with all kinds of field equipment. Yeah. For a kid, it was definitely fun. Also, Dad farmed. Grew up growing tobacco, pumpkins. Spent a lot of time, many holidays up at the farmers market.
Oh, really?
Selling pumpkins, Christmas trees.
That's why you're in Schiff Street shape.
Yeah.
Pumpkin living, lifting.
Yes, that's for sure, especially when you have to load a tractor trailer full.
I bet.
As far as education, graduated from Madison High School in '97. Briefly attended the University of Tennessee for a little while, then decided to come back home and kind of join the family business.
Mm-hmm.
As of now, things changed. I changed career paths. I'm a wastewater worker for a utility that services Buncombe and Henderson counties. Actually, today, the day after Labor Day, I bet is my 10-year anniversary. So
oh, really? Congratulations.
Time passes fast.
Oh, it doesn't.
I'm also in the Electrical Systems Technology Associate Program at AB Tech. I do night classes. Actually got a class tonight, so.
You're a busy guy.
It seems that way.
At least you put down the pumpkins, right?
Right, yeah.
Do you have any pumpkins grown?
No.
For this fall?
No.
Not
No.
Any in the garden?
I done enough of that a lot of years ago.
I guess so. Oh, that's great.
Okay, I'm currently living in Mars Hill, married to my wonderful wife, Jamie. One German Shepherd who's named Zelda. She's the apple of our eye.
So, I don't know how we got to.
Oh yes, grew up with German Shepherds, so that's something I got from my dad.
Yeah.
I always have to have one around. They're very good dogs that train
sure
for as far as actually, being the son of a librarian, I read basically every night. John Adams by David McCollum, I think.
Yeah.
Read that during the pandemic. Also,
that's a long one.
It is.
Yeah.
Very good, very well written.
I'm sure.
Also, the President's Club, about how current presidents will ask former presidents for help. For instance, President Truman asking former President Hoover to help out with the food crisis after the World War II ended in Europe, with the refugees, different people. Also learned Jimmy Carter was kind of a loose cannon in that role.
Yeah. Did he ask anybody?
Jimmy Carter asked, and I'm trying to remember. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, Ford was in front of him, and Nixon, of course. But anyways, sounds interesting stuff.
Yeah. And also,
You read a lot of history.
yes,
Yeah.
just finished, If the Trees Could Testify.
Oh yeah, yeah. We
Yep.
talked about that.
Yep.
Bill's coming on in about 35 minutes or so. Well, boy, keep it up.
Yeah.
Well, where did your dad? Where was he a librarian?
It was my mother.
Oh, your mother.
Yep.
I see.
Here in Madison County.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
she
great.
was.
What a great library system we have here.
We do.
You know,
Yep.
for such a small county, I mean, it's just unbelievably concise with anything you need. It's just I can't get the words out.
Yeah.
But anyways, John, what do you see? What are some of your responsibilities as the party chair of the county? In other words, what do you do as a Democratic Party chair?
Well, I represent the executive committee, which is made up of elected officials, precinct officers, and other elected members of the executive committee, such as my first vice chair, second vice chair, third vice chair, secretary, and treasurer for the county party. Also represent Madison County on the state executive committee. Myself and Danny Wyatt are the two members on the SEC for Madison County. Also, one of the duties, I voted for our new 11th Congressional District Chair, which is Matt Balance, firefighter from Asheville. We had an opening, and according to the party plan organization, that's one of my duties. You know, Madison being in the 11th district, is to vote to elect a new officer.
Yeah, and attend meetings. And,
Yes.
And do you travel to Raleigh much? Or have you?
Yes.
Jeez.
Prior to being elected chair, I was second vice chair and made quite a few trips to Raleigh with our former chair, Stewart. Also learned some good places to eat in Raleigh from Stewart. So,
Hey, that's great. So you said they're elected by the populace or by the Democratic Party?
By the registered Democrats in the county.
Oh, I see. I got you.
Yep.
Why do you think we have more people vying to take over the seat held by Madison Cawthon? I think there's 8 now, 8 Democrats, and even 4 or 5 Republicans that I know of. And by the way, folks, we have been having some of those guests on in the morning. But why now? Taking over this young guy's, position in D.C. despite the election is over a year. It's a year away, more than a year away. What do you think so many people now about?
Well, I think a lot of people had high hopes for Congressman Cawthorn. Thinking that he would grow into the role of the congressman and learn legislation, get stuff done that's important to us here in the 11th congressional district, and it just hasn't happened.
Right.
And I think both parties realize this. As evidence of already 4 people running against him in the primary, with more coming.
I think so. The cutoffs in December 6th or something like
Yes.
that. Early December is the cutoff for people that want to run for the District 11. The Democrats have at least 6 candidates. Would you speak of, or 8 candidates now, I guess?
Well, 8 candidates in the Senate race, 6 here in the 11th congressional district race.
Would you speak of some of those seeking the U.S. seat occupied now? Let's see, Richard Burr is retiring in 2022. So just the names. I know you really can't take sides as a chair, correct?
Right. I have to remain completely impartial during the primary process.
And keep your own thoughts to yourself, basically.
The only time I can make an endorsement is when I go in on primary day and vote my mind inside the voting booth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gosh. Now, could you sit around the table with a bunch of Democrats? You can sit around the table with friends of yours that are Democrats or that are Republicans and state your mind there, can't you? Or you're not supposed to?
I try not to. I try not to cross that line. To me, it's clear cut. whether I'm at a family reunion or
Yeah.
attending a high school sporting event.
Yeah.
I represent the Madison County Democratic Party at all these, so I have to watch, what I say.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I think I talked to my wife.
Okay.
Of course,
Yeah,
she
you better
can't,
watch it there.
she can't testify me against me, so
Oh, that's
yeah,
right. That's
yeah.
right.
So I confide in her my thoughts and concerns
Yeah.
in regards to different candidates.
Well, it is quite a roster of candidates. All of them have their pluses. So could you mention a few?
Yes, former Justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court, also Chief Justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court, Sherry Beasley. Also, we have Keith Davenport, who recently changed from a Republican to a Democrat, and Ava Edwards, who's a pharmacist down east. Also, current state senator Jeff Jackson, who represents Mecklenburg. Tobias LeGrone, he's a business owner and a pastor and a counselor. And Rhett Newton, who unfortunately who planned to come to Madison County, actually to the Laurel Community Center. But due to the growth in the pandemic, we've kind of limited in-person events, just to err on the side of caution. I don't want to make anybody sick. I don't want to, spread this virus around that's done well enough on its own.
Yes, they have.
And also we have Erica D. Smith, who's a former North Carolina State Senator. And of course, Richard Watkins III, he's a scientist and a candidate. We hosted a Zoom call with him a couple of months ago. So that's our rate running for to be the Democratic nominee.
For the 11th
Yeah,
district.
no, this is for the Senate.
Oh, the state senate. I see. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. So everybody across the land gets to vote for one
Yes.
of those or the Republican opponents. But folks, I'm talking with Madison Cawthorn, Democratic Party Chair of John Gosnell. You may contact him. Boy, I blew that.
That's all right. I've been called worse.
I'm talking to John Gosnell. Let's make that perfectly clear. And I also want to say, you just wrote those candidates down not in any order of your preference or anything.
No.
So let's make that perfectly clear. Again, I'll start over. Folks, I'm talking with the Madison County Democratic Party Chair, John Gosnell. Do you mind if I give the phone number?
Yeah, go ahead. It's on the website.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes.
You can call him at 828-691-3518 or email him at mcdp, that's MC Madison County Democratic Party NC Chair. That's mcdpncchair@gmail.com. Well, John, we have some municipal elections coming up this fall. That's in another month and a half or 2 months. All three incorporated cities, Marshall, Marcel, and Hot Springs, have mayoral elections and alderman positions up for grabs. Seems like the incumbents really have the edge. Have you met most of the people serving our county?
Actually, I have. Can I start with Hot Springs?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
The candidate for mayor, Abigail Norton. I growing up in Shelton Laurel, Hot Springs is the closest place to really get something to eat. So I got to know her husband was a fixture, Johnny, in Hot Springs. And of course, I graduated high school with her oldest son, Eric, who was also married to my first cousin.
Oh, really?
So, we grew up together. So,
I was going to say, who are you going to vote for then?
well, if I lived in Hot
I know you
Springs,
can't vote for over there, so.
Also Gene Gentry running for alderman, and Jimmy Moore. Growing up in Laurel, Hot Springs is always close to my heart. So. Moving on to the town of Marshall, candidate for mayor, Nancy Allen. Nancy was my mother's principal at Hot Springs Elementary, and also she was my mother's principal at Madison Middle School when it opened.
Oh, how about that?
So grew up with Nancy.
I had Nancy on about a month ago.
Oh, she's an extremely smart person.
Oh, she sure is. Very pleasant.
And also, all of them here in Marshall. Billie Jean Haney, know very well, educator, taught most of the county and Marshall. Christian Ramsey, who, if I remember correctly, was the music teacher at the middle school right as pretty close to I was there. So
Right when I started
Yeah.
at the middle school, he was the band director, had 80 kids. He was
Yep.
very enthusiastic, had a ponytail down
Yep.
the middle of his back.
and can sing.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Can I interject one little thing?
Yeah.
They asked me to watch the clock at the first football game in my first year teaching here. And Christian calls down to some of the band members, hey, somebody come on up here and sing the national anthem. And no, everybody just kind of turned and ran away, you know. So he belted it out a cappella with, you know, just the greatest form, most beautiful voice, and he's quite a songster. But,
And you know, one of the aldermen here in Marshall, I'm not that familiar with Thomas, and Lord forgive me, Joe Besky. I'm off
Hey,
on
that's good
names.
enough.
Yeah. Moving on to where I
Marshall.
can vote
yeah.
as a resident of Morris Hill. John L. Chandler's running for mayor again. Ran a service station. Actually got my car inspected there from time to time. And of course, Bobby Zink, who, you know, if you need need your weed eater cleaned up, go see Bobby's brother. Or buy, you know, many people buy insurance for Bobby. And of course, Nicholas Honeycutt, a year or two ahead of Nicholas in high school. Nicholas was actually the videographer for my wedding, so I'm pretty familiar with most of the municipal candidates.
Good for you. Again, listeners, I'm talking to John Gosnell. He's my guest, and he's the Democratic Party chair of Madison County. You can email John at mcdpncchair or nchair@gmail.com. I'll call him at 206. Wait a minute. That's not the right number. 6913518.
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Okay. John, what activities does the Democrat? You know, most parties have activities. What are some of the Democratic Party activities coming down the pike in Madison, or even for the surrounding counties, if you know what's going on, since you do, I guess?
Well, you know, we're having, with the way the virus
The
is,
COVID has really
Yeah.
interrupted stuff, hasn't it?
so in-person stuff has kind of been put on hold. I've been in contact with the Madison County Health Department, you know, getting updates
Right.
about when we can go back in person. I know some of the, first, you know, I'm fortunate, I've got a great group of people that help me here in the county that are coming up with some events. We're trying to reschedule the Rhett Newton for a Zoom call with the Marshall University deans to include them. And then, you know, we also hosted the first 11th Congressional District Forum up at the Cooperative Extension Office.
Wow, that's right.
That was the first time all six candidates together, you know, and I jokingly said, okay, we're Iowa, you know, because of as far as, you know, getting them all together for the first time.
That's
where
right.
they could state their platform.
Well, we never did take a straw poll or anything like that, but it was a fun night. I remember that.
And, you know, as usually toward the fall, we try to have like a chili cook-off with different precincts participating, grouping together. It's easier that way because, you know, Madison County's a spread out county. It's
Sure is.
a pretty good sized county. So we'll be looking at all that when it's safe for us to do in-person events. Until then, we'll kind of be doing Zoom meetings.
Yeah, well, that's a smart thing to do. Patrick, I called Jacob Ray a couple of weeks ago. I'm sorry, John.
It's okay. He has a Belgian Malinois, and I have a German Shepherd, so we do have some similarities.
You're also, the listeners are hearing the way I edit things. When I had Patrick Ward, he's the Republican Party chair, on about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I just take the same questions and erase Patrick and put in John, and I apologize about that.
That's perfectly fine.
Thank you. Well, I called Jacob Ray at the Board of Elections a couple of weeks ago, just before Patrick came on, and Then there were 5,522 Democrats, 4,604 Republicans, and 6,300, over 6,300 unaffiliated. Why is it important? Do you think it's important to be a part of a political party?
I do, because, you come together as a collective. We may not agree on everything. Democratic parties, we have a big tent that everybody is under. Although we may not agree on every issue 100% of the time, we have more that unites us than what divides us. That's one of the reasons I've been taking executive committee meetings out to the communities throughout the Madison County, to give people that may not come to a meeting to find out what the Madison County Democratic Party is about, to give them a chance to come talk with me and other officers to voice their concerns. And, unaffiliateds are more than welcome to come.
Sure.
Even, my friends from across the aisle occasionally.
Yeah, I'm sure, and vice versa.
Yes.
Whatever the case may be, our government was based basically on a two-party system.
Correct.
And now so many people seem to be getting, just disenfranchised from the official two-party system. Of course, there have been other parties, the Whigs and so on, and there have been communists, and I assume there's still communist, socialist, libertarian, all types.
Green Party.
The Green
Yeah.
Party and the Constitutional Party, and so it's not a true, totally two-party system, but that unaffiliate, whatever party gets a hold of those, boy, I think they're gonna have a good shot.
Yeah, I mean, they're the
Majority
now.
Yeah. Well, John, we are about out of time. Do you have anything else you'd like to add to the listeners here that
I
you'd like
would-
to get across?
I would like to thank the opportunity. This is my first interview. I was
Hey,
extremely nervous coming in, but
you did better
you've made
than I
it.
did.
You've made it a great process. I'd also like to thank Maggie and Nancy for doing our Facebook Live. Hello, everybody at home. This is a great opportunity to come out and kind of introduce myself, and it's not nice for people here, to kind of hear and get to know me a little bit better. And if they want to, contact me, send me an email. Phone calls sometimes during the day. It may take me that afternoon or the next day, but I pride myself on returning phone calls.
Yeah, well, I think emails are the best. And why don't you give it out, since I've flubbed it up a couple times today?
Well, I don't know if I'll do much better than you.
That's a
because,
tough one.
It's mcdpchair@gmail.com. No, sorry, I forgot the NC. See,
There we
you've
go.
rubbed off on me.
That's why people should stay away when I'm on the air. Thanks a lot for having us on, John.
All right, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Okay, folks.